Hey folks, today we're looking at coils, how to create designs while using them and how to make them awesome. Let's look at some examples. All right, first thing you're going to want to do is grab some clay, and probably not this big of a piece, break that in half and start squishing it together. Notice I'm turning my clay and then start rolling out my coils. I'm going to do a bunch of them, and I'm going to do them kind of fast here so we can get our design examples rocking. Remember, you don't need to press super hard when you're rolling out coils. The clay is very soft, but you do want your coils to be as even as you possibly can make them. You don't need to use very much pressure, and you're using your fingertips and the palm of your hands as you are rolling. I'm going to do a few so I can use them later for examples. Alright, our first example, I'm going to cut off a little piece with my wooden tool, and I'm going to cut off that same size piece, and I'm just going to do a bunch of them. This is a great way to add some vertical height and give a little different look to my coil coil design, excuse me. Alright, got them all relatively the same size, and I'm going to fix it just a little, do some trimming, and now I need to slip and score them together. So I'm scoring both sides that are going to be attached, and then I'll add some slip. I like to score things first and score all of them so I can just stay consistent and make sure I get every piece done. Generally, once you have a design finished, you're going to want to add it to your coil pot right away. But since this video is all about the different designs you can make, I'm not going to add it to a pot. I'm just going to show you a bunch of different examples. Once you have everything scored, we're slipping together and then pressing our coils gently, and we want to make sure it's nice and even so they're staying stacked as well as we possibly can make it nice and even. And it creates a kind of like a Lincoln log effect, which is a cool design for your coil pots. I'll put these to the side since we don't need more to show the example. Our next one is going to be a spiral. So on this time around, we're just spinning our coil all the way around and in on itself, and I'm just using the edge of a knife, or a fork actually, to cut off the clay. I'm going to do the same thing a few different times, and I want my coils and my designs for my coil to be relatively the same size, especially if I'm doing them in a row. So you'll notice that I'm curling around the same amount of times. I didn't slip and score this one together, so one trick that I have for these ones is to score the whole back side, grab some slip, and fill her in. That's one great way to ensure that it's all going to stay together. You're scoring the back side and you're compressing that clay, making sure it's nice and flat for the inside, and on the outside you still have your design. And you do that for all the other ones as well. After that, hardest one. Oh, just like that. You can do little balls of clay as part of a design for your coil pot. Excuse me, I did it again. If you wanted to make the balls of clay a little bit larger, you of course can. If that's the case, you just need a little bit more clay, roll it into a nice ball, and as with anything else, you would score it and attach it to your coil pot. This one is kind of similar as far as having a smaller piece to start off with, and I'm going to do almost a little rainbow around it. And you could do multiples of this. I'm just going to show one, but you can always expand on these designs. These are just examples to start off with. And I went around that little arch using the end of my fork, and I did slip and score the inside of that one, but I'm going to do what I did on my spiral on the back side. But let's clean up the slip. That was a little bit of excess first. You always want to have good craftsmanship. And then I'm going to score the back side, grab some slip, and blend everything together so it is nice and attached well. And that'll be really good for the inside of my coil pot. Awesome. All right, this next one I'm going to need 2 long coils for, so I'm going to roll out one more really fast, and then you'll be able to do it. So I'm going to do a twisted coil, so I need 2 coils for that. And I need to make sure I'm scoring one of them, which I'll do here. And of course, adding some slip. Now, if you know how to braid, you can do the same process, except you would need, of course, the 3 coils instead of 2. This particular design technique is going to have the potential for cracking. So if that happens, you need to make sure that you smooth it out. You can use slip, but you don't want to press your designs together or lose that twist as you're working. You can use slip or moisture. Just regular water works too. And let's do one more. For this one, I'm going to need one more coil, and it's going to be a little bit similar to our first one, but I'm not going to cut it off this time. So I'm going to score the whole side, and I should actually be doing both sides, but for expediency's sake, let's just do one. Add some slip, and I'm going to curve my coil back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and create a little personality for my coil pot. Now these are just some examples. There are a ton of different ones, but this is always a good place to start, and hopefully it gives you ideas for the different designs you're going to do for your coil pot. Thanks for watching.